We got Tanner Boser back here on the program. He's going to be fighting for M1 Challenge on March 30th. Tanner, what's going on, man? How are you?
Hey, I'm doing pretty good, man. How are you doing?
I'm doing awesome. It's good to see you have another fight, and we'll talk about that in 1 second. But I know off the top, you switched management groups. How did that all come together, and why the switch?
I hadn't had a management group for quite a while, so I had AJ at Epoch message me. You know, I get offers for management companies reasonably frequently, but I didn't see a reason to need one. And kind of recently, I figured I was going to need somebody to help me get another bigger contract because nothing was falling out of the sky for me like it usually does. So they helped me get this M1 deal, and so I mean, yeah, so far so good with them.
I was going to say they got you a fight book. That's good management right there. What is the status? I guess you're just sort of a free agent, or did you sign like a multi-fight deal with M1?
I signed a multi-fight deal.
Oh,
Yeah.
nice. Okay, some security there in terms of getting a frequency of fights, which I guess is pretty good.
Yeah, supposed to be 3 fights a year for 2 years or something like that.
Okay. What ended up happening with ACB, which is now ACA? Was there any did they ever extend the branch to try and keep you on board?
Yeah, sort of. ACB treated me really good the whole time. I love fighting for ACB, and I had a really good run while I was there. My new contract they offered me was for less money than my old one, and I wasn't happy with it because I felt that I'd earned at least the right to stay at where I had earned my way up to, and I wasn't going to take a pay decrease, especially since the only reason I was no longer on a 3-fight winning streak for them was because I took a short fight, 2 weeks' notice against their ex-champion, and lost a fight that I feel could have went either way. So I thought it was a slap in the face to offer me less money coming off of what was essentially a big favor. So I decided that I wouldn't re-sign with them this time.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, it makes sense. I mean, you do them the favor of filling in at the last minute, especially like it's not like you're a local. You have to fly all the way over there and everything like that. Was there anything you could take away from that last fight that was at ACB 90 that you can kind of bring into this fight, or was it just, you felt like you won the fight?
No, I didn't feel like I won the fight. I don't think either one of us won that fight.
Mm-hmm.
Like, scoring that fight is hard. It can go either way. Nothing great really happened. Nobody really landed anything really significant. I don't know. It wasn't. I took it on extremely short notice, and I'm not gonna make up any like excuses as to why I lost that fight. But no, I can't take anything away from that fight. Razulov's a good fighter. He's a top guy, and I wish him luck in his future fights.
Are you still going to take short notice fights if they come this way? Because you're notorious for that, and I know sometimes it's a bit risky because you don't get enough time to get acclimatized and everything like that.
No, the fight, I was in shape. The short notice had nothing to do with that loss at all.
Okay.
No, I'm going to take short notice fights if I'm in shape and if I'm not injured. Really, it's what I do. So.
Okay. Let's talk about your opponent here, Zaur. I'm not even going to bother pronouncing this last name. It's going to be a tough one, but he's got a 7-2 record. Another guy with you fight all tough guys. I mean, in terms of the records and everything. What do you know about him? How do you feel like you match up against him here?
He's a power puncher, I think. He's good. When he throws a kick, it's good. He doesn't usually look to initiate the grappling. He has a choke on his record. He dropped the guy, I think, and then choked him out. He's got really heavy hands. I match up good against him, I'd say. I like normal. I have the speed advantage, the movement advantage. Yeah, it's just going to be a matter of hoping to avoid one of those big shots because he's going to be throwing them. And, I mean, historically, I do pretty good against power puncher types. So, I mean, we'll see. Zaur is he's a good fighter. He's a good fight.
Training camp, things must be going really well right now. You just had your teammate Teddy Ash pick up some hardware recently. How's morale right now in the gym?
Good, man. The last unified card we went 3-3 on it actually, but Teddy, KB, and Graham Park, they're all like 3 of my main training partners, and they all kicked ass. So it was awesome,
Yeah, yeah, it's just good to see you guys get rewarded, especially KB and Teddy. I know for Teddy especially getting a win over a UFC veteran always looks good. Did you change anything for this camp, or has it just sort of been business as usual?
I've been in fight camp since January 2nd, training my ass off, waiting for a short notice fight or anybody to want me to fight anywhere. I didn't care. I just need a fight. Was going crazy. So when when Epoch came through with this fight for M1, this contract, I jumped on it because I need a fight. March 30th, the soonest. I was hoping I'd get a fight in February. I didn't change anything up. I've been training hard, training consistently, and I'll fight anybody. It doesn't matter. Like, I don't need to change drastic things in my training camps.
What about traveling? When are you actually getting down there?
We leave on the 25th, so I think we get there on the 26th at like midnight. So technically the 27th maybe. But yeah, the night of the 26th. Yeah, that's good enough. Fights on the 30th. It's enough to acclimate.
Yep. Okay. That sounds good. Who's going to be making the trip with you? Who's going to be in your corner?
My coach, Jeff Montemuro.
Okay. Excellent. Just him and no one else?
Yeah, they only ever pay for one, so
right, yeah, unless you have to pay extra, which is, yeah, it's not really worth it sometimes. So I understand. How do you see this fight unfolding on the 30th?
Well, I mean, everybody picks themselves, so I mean, I'm going to get the win somehow.
Right.
Let's be honest, it's not by submission, so either I'm going to knock him out or I'm going to piece him up, and it's going to be a 3-round decision.
Because this is a new organization, do you have your eye on anyone in this promotion that you'd like to fight, or you just leave that up to your management?
It's not up to the management. It's not up to me. It's up to M1. Whoever they want me to fight, I'll fight. I don't care. There's no good matchups, no bad matchups. Just fucking fight anybody they want. There's no one I have my eye on. M1's heavyweight division is pretty wide open, and I've seen some decent guys fight here and there recently, but there's no one I can think of who I consider like a top dog in it. Everybody that has gotten signed to either UFC or has left for to get title shots in like Fight Nights Global or up in ACB or something. So no, I'm good to fight whoever. After this fight, well, I got to see what happens, because if I'm injured or something happens, then I won't fight immediately after. But M1's contract allows me to fight one-off fights outside of Russia.
Mm-hmm.
So potentially, if all goes according to plan in this fight, and if I don't rip my own ankles apart throwing 1,000 kicks like normal or something like that, I'm going to be looking to fight Unified in May. And then
the return. Nice. And
then after that I go back to M1. But there's a lot hinging. It's all up to this fight, and obviously I'm going to leave it all in there. So, maybe I come out unscathed, and maybe it's an absolute war. I can't say.
Yeah. There is that relationship with M1 and the UFC. We've seen, some fighters go here and there. I mean, I know we've talked about it a million times. We're probably sick of it, but is that something they talk to you about when you sign with them? Because we've seen some, sort of some sharing going on between the promotions.
Well, every champion of M1 gets a UFC contract if they choose.
Mm-hmm.
So there's that. That's all I know about their relationship. I mean, I'm sure they'd share a bit, but I don't. If they're sharing, they're looking for an Eastern European. If they go to Eastern Europe, trying to just pluck some guys. So I don't see a reason to pluck the Canadian. But
okay, well,
if they did, yeah, of course I would do it.
No, absolutely. I mean, that's always, an option out there, I guess. I still think they missed the boat not getting you on the Ultimate Fighter. I don't think you would have liked to do it, but you just personality wise, I mean, I don't know if if you saw any of the show, but you definitely would have been a nice addition there.
I didn't see the show, and they didn't miss the boat. I missed the boat. I didn't miss the boat. I was signed to ACB, but I mean, it was my choice to not go on the Ultimate Fighter. Mm-hmm. They asked for me to go on the Ultimate Fighter. They asked my old jiu-jitsu coach, Luke Harris, to ask me to go try out because they wanted me on the show. I wasn't going to break contract with ACB mm-hmm. and terminate what was at the time a very good contract with good money and go fight a bunch of fights for free for the chance to maybe get into UFC. It wasn't worth it.
That's true. Yeah, I guess from your position, I mean, you're getting paid well, you're getting, marquee fights, and like you said, the pay. That's sort of what it comes down to as well. It's just, you got to take care of yourself. You can't, because what happens if you get injured on the show? Then it's one of those things, right?
People don't get it, man. You can't pay your bills with opportunities. So
yeah, I agree with you
money.
there. Before I let you go, what's on the docket right now for TV or anything, or what are you doing for downtime? What's getting you through camp?
I don't watch anything. Hey, seriously.
Okay. What about no Trailer Park Boys anymore? You don't watch any of the reruns?
I've literally never watched Trailer Park Boys in my life.
Oh, you haven't? Okay, gotcha.
No, I'm rewatching Game of Thrones at the moment with my girlfriend before the
season.
That's it. I love that show, but yeah, I don't really watch a whole lot. Pretty boring, man.
No, well, hey, listen, it's the life of the fighter. You work, you train, and then you got to get ready for fights, right? So it's probably better that way, right? You can't be lavish, right?
Yeah, I suppose. That's how it goes.
Good. Well, this is going to be a great fight. It's coming up here March 30th. It is M1 Challenge 101. Tanner, always appreciate you taking the time, man. Just remind people where they can find you on social media. And if you got any sponsors or shout-outs, the floor is yours, man.
Yeah, so social media, I'm Tanner the Bulldozer Boser on Facebook and at Bulldozer Boser on Instagram and Twitter. I got to thank PPS, Paul Pedal Services, awesome sponsor of mine, as is Platinum Solutions. ThinkWorks did up a batch of new shirts. If you guys want any of those, hit me up on any social media. And Travel Guru sponsored me this fight as well, so that's wicked. It's all my sponsors. So yeah, thanks, James. Appreciate it.